Welcome to today's episode of Wellness Wednesday. I am Dr. Katherine Y. Brown, your host. Today, we are so excited to introduce you to our special guest, Ella Lyman. Welcome, Ella.
Hi.
For our viewers around the world, can you share a little about your background and the work that you do?
Absolutely. I am a community outreach worker with the CDC Foundation, and I help with the vaccine events and vaccine uptake in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. So, thank you for your service. First of all, what has your work resulted in? So I want you to look at that from two different lenses, right? What has been your most challenging thing that you've dealt with? And what was your most successful moment? That one thing that you look back over the pandemic and it just excites you at the success.
There are a lot of successful moments, I think, throughout my work with the CDC Foundation. I have gained a lot of great partnerships with nonprofit organizations and faith-based organizations. I have been a part of the vaccine events, coordinating those throughout the community. We have vaccinated a number of people between me and my team personally. So I just think overall it's just been a great experience just making those relationships and helping the East Tennessee region.
Was there anything that you all found challenging as you started your work?
I think the most challenging moment was probably December, January, when we started having issues with medical provider shortage. So that kind of shifted our strategies and methods of getting people vaccinated. We had to work closely together to find other providers or other ways to help people get vaccinated.
Absolutely. For those people who are not familiar with the CDC Foundation, can you tell us a little bit more about the foundation?
The foundation is a wonderful nonprofit organization that works alongside the CDC in so many health efforts, just eliminating health disparities, especially where I currently work. I'm in East Tennessee, so it's very rural. So I'm working alongside the rural, health association and just making sure that everyone has access to the health care that they need.
Do you think that healthcare is different in the rural areas versus more urban areas? And if yes, how so?
I would say so. For those who live in the rural area, accessibility is very limited. They may not have the transportation. The nearest hospital may be an hour or so away. They don't do the preventative care as much because the rural area they can't really take that time off to go, to into town to get those preventative those preventative care. With the urban areas, I think you have more access to clinics and hospitals and
Mm.
maybe other medical providers that could help. So I think there's just easier access in the urban areas compared to rural.
So, what are some of the specific cities? Because I know you say east, but I wonder if all of our viewers know exactly what that covers.
Right. So I'm in charge of 24 counties, and some of the metro areas consist of Knoxville, Johnson City, um, let's see, Kingsport, that area. Those are the big metros. But most of it is very rural. So I'm actually here in Hamlin County, and we're definitely a smaller community, but a close-knit community for sure.
Absolutely. So you said the word community, and that's one of the words that we talk about a lot on TNCEAL Wellness Wednesday. So in your own words, Ella, what does community mean to you?
Oh, that's a good question. I think community is just a type of culture, like a sense of belonging.
Mhm.
It could be different pockets of certain, you know, communities like faith-based, like you feel a part of your congregation. That's a
Mhm.
type of community. there's just so many variations of community in my mind. So you could just be a part of so many little communities and not even know it. But yeah, just that sense of belonging and that relationship with community members and yeah.
So 10 years from now, if we look back on what you did in the community, what do you want to be remembered for? If they say, Ella did this.
Um, I think hmm, I don't know. I hope I can help as many people as possible. And I hope that they remember me as someone who, you know, helped them with their health needs and, help them get the resources that they needed, or just even if they needed, that sense of community, just that moment of contact where we formulated a relationship, it was a good experience. If I could just make someone's day, that would be great.
Absolutely wonderful. How can people find you and also learn more about the work that you're doing? Do you have any websites, social media handles?
Um, Social media, I have um just personal. I don't have a CDC foundation specifically. I think that's something we're working towards, but you can definitely reach me either at Marie Lyman at cdcfoundation.org or my TDH email, and it's ella.lyman@tn.gov. So I'm welcome to get emails from anyone and everyone. I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers? Because I have asked you so many questions and I could probably sit here and talk to you all day, but what would you like to share with our viewers?
Um, just thank you for having me on, and I'm just really blessed to have this opportunity to be a part of this outreach effort during, COVID-19. I know it's been hard for a lot of families, a lot of community members, a lot of faith-based organizations. Getting back together in the church has been, great. That union again of being face to face, we all miss that contact with people. So I think it's just exciting to be a part of that process of finally getting back to what feels like somewhat normal. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. We'll have to have you back soon to hear more updates from you about all that you are doing. So, for our viewers around the world, we want you to share this message. Like, share, repost, follow, comment, whatever you need to do. But people need to hear about the work that Miss Ella is doing. So, until next time, stay informed, stay connected, stay engaged. And remember, share this message. Until next time, I am Dr. Katherine Y. Brown, your host of TNCEAL Wellness Wednesday. Have a great day. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to TNCEAL Wellness Wednesday. I am Dr. Katherine Y. Brown, your host. Today, I am so excited to introduce you to our guest. Now, some of you might know him as Raphael, others know him as Ralph. So welcome, Ralph Santiago, to Wellness Wednesday.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we are so excited to have you and just all the things that you are doing in the community. So let's jump right in. For our viewers around the world, tell them about your background and all the amazing things that you are doing as it relates to COVID-19.
Well, background, that can go real far, so I'm not going to go too far, right? COVID-19, I began my journey attacking that animal, right, in November of last year when the position was available with the CDC Foundation. And ever since then, we have been working as a team. There's about 4 of us on the team. And as outreach workers, we pretty much go into the community and communicate with the local organizations, whether it be 501c3s or companies that can use the benefits of the public health when it talks about vaccines and the knowledge that we have surrounding COVID-19. So there's been numerous amount of vaccine events, public health information that's been poured out into the community. I directly have been blessed to communicate with majority of the Latino population in the southeastern region of Tennessee, and also assist my colleagues in any communication with Latino organizations that they are working with during those vaccine events.
Absolutely. I love it. Now, how do you balance that? So, I mean, you have your personal life, family and friends who may have been impacted, plus what you're doing in the community. What does balance look like in the world of Ralph?
I got 4 kids. That's tough to answer.
Okay, you have to tell me the ages because I have
Yeah.
4 children as well. So
Okay.
you got to go there first.
I've been married for now going on 14 years.
Yes.
14. I hope she didn't hear
Uh-oh,
that.
you're in
I don't know
trouble.
if it's 14. We've been married for that long, and we have a 12-year-old. His name is Jariah. I have a 10-year-old. Her name is Shia. I have a 5-year-old. Her name is Livia. And I have a 4-year-old, and his name is Levi. And they all are completely different. So
Tell me about it.
yeah.
Tell me about it. Yes.
So
Now,
balancing that, when everything hit, it was an interesting era. We had to embrace the idea that our kids will remember this time. And to be honest, I want to touch on the positive, the fact that we were able to spend every day together. Now it got a little stressful, and it was different because I wasn't out and about at a job, and I didn't have to come home after work. Everything was done at home. It was virtual. And I realized after about a year, the quality time that we were spent together was so priceless. And I think a lot of families just focused on the negative when we were complaining before that we didn't spend enough time with our family, but now we're forced to, right? I think it was the forced idea. Like nobody wants to be forced to do it, but we definitely, I mean, in these 2 years, we've seen each other grow. And I say each other because they've seen us grow. I've seen them grow. I had a lot of memories with them. So it's been special. It's been difficult. It's been special. But also in our family, balancing was tough because we lost 5 members of our family to COVID. And communicating that information to my children was difficult. Not being able to see the family members, go to funerals. It was, everything was different. You know, in America, our idea after death is to see everyone, visit, communicate, but we weren't able to do any of those things. So especially in my culture as a Latino, funerals are big, they're important. So that was difficult. Balancing it, I think that I live in a community that there's so much up and down. There's so many things that have, I'm just gonna be real. Some people believe in it, some people don't, right? And living in that kind of a community, you have to learn how to balance those people out, you know. And I think by being in a family that was affected so much, we understood that it was very important, right? And that it was real. So I communicated with my children and my family about this real thing that's happening, right? And how we're gonna embrace it and consistently, you know, make sure that we don't underestimate, right? So that's pretty much it, you know.
I agree. Yeah, it definitely is, you know, a lot when you do, you know, think about it, because I have 4 children as well, and I would agree with you. You spent more time. Now mine are a little bit older. I've got 28, 21, 20, and 13. But I
Woo!
definitely, I
Wow.
know,
So you
right?
can teach me something.
So here's a question for you. Today, this is April 6th, 2022.
Mhm.
What are you most looking forward to when we think about spring? We're kind of in spring, but spring and summer. I mean, we've been in this thing for a while, but what are you looking forward to?
I like to see some more family members that I haven't seen in 3 years,
Yeah.
right? I do believe in still being careful, right?
Yeah.
We have to be wise, and
Mhm.
being wise means sometimes doing things that you may not want to do, right? Or having to do things that you need to do, but you still don't want to do that, So traveling, if I'm
Mm.
going to be going to a real populated community, I may not want to do that with all four of my kids.
Right.
But I look forward in more face-to-face contact with my family, but in a wise way. We've been invited to go to Disney World. I'm not going, right? I'm not going to take my kids to Disney World. So, but definitely getting out, a little bit more. I do think it's important to also understand that there, even though I had a great time with my family, there's been a lot of families that have been depressed and dealing with mental illness because of being
Mhm.
held inside of their home for so long.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I want to, in a careful manner, take my family out. We got some plans on doing some visits to some parts of the country and stuff like that, but locally, and just keep it us. But
Absolutely. What is the message that communities need to know about right now? I mean, you've been doing vaccination events, lots of education, but for our viewers, they're watching from literally everywhere. What is the one message that you want to get out to the community as it relates to COVID-19 right now?
that's a good question. That's a dangerous question to answer, right? So my message, and I like to be 100% real as much as I can, right? I think because of my background, what I've worked in the past, safety is huge for me. When my kids go outside the door, I'm thinking safety. Are
Mhm.
you going to get in the car at the time that I need you to get in the car? Are you going to walk into the street? Are you going to close the door correctly? Do you have your seatbelt on, right? And I think a lot of us, we have the typical safety practice of putting our seatbelt on, right? We have the typical safety of locking our doors when we come inside of our homes. But when it comes to public health, those safety parameters are not as important sometimes because 2020 was a different year for everybody. And everyone was so used to going anywhere at whatever
Mhm.
time with whoever they wanted for as long as they wanted, right?
Yeah.
So because those things change, I encourage, and my message would be um think about the safety of your loved ones first,
Yeah.
and think about the safety of those outside of your family and your friends who
Mhm.
are desiring to be safe also, right?
Mhm.
The vaccine was a huge message that a lot of people wanted to accept or just kind of pick apart, right? And we've seen the positive view on how the vaccine has helped, right? Um, and we're going to get a lot of negativity that comes with the package, right?
Mhm.
But if we focus on safety, if we understand that there were people who lost their lives, there were families who lost loved ones.
Mhm.
um, I I particularly know of a family who lost their daughter in one day, right? Or 2 days, after COVID. So this is real stuff, and we can find all kinds of ways to avoid it or to become over zealous of it. But the reality is that it exists, and we must use safety, uh the safety parameters that have been put out there to help uh with our current situation. So
Absolutely.
that's my encouragement. That's my message, that safety is important. We all put our wallets inside of our pocket, right? We don't have our credit cards as an ID on our chest, because we want to protect our financial future, right? Well, our financial future is nothing if we don't have health, and health is important.
Absolutely. So, okay, this is year 2022. Now, 10 years from now, we're going to look back and I want to know what you want to be remembered for as it relates to what you have done on the front lines, because you have been truly on the front lines. But when we say, who was Ralph Santiago? How do you want people to remember you?
Oh, wow. I feel that I've been on the front lines for most of my career. Right? My first career out of college was a child abuse investigator. So we were on the front line of any abuse happening within domestic community. So being in front of the front line is not new to me. In terms of COVID, right, being on the front line, I feel that being awarded the position to work directly with the Latino population, I noticed that there was a lack of knowledge because of a language barrier, because of a culture difference, and being able to bridge that was very rewarding to me. I mean, obviously we get paid for our position, but the reward of someone being able to say, I can get vaccinated even though I'm not an American citizen, right? Some of them were excited about that. Some of them were afraid to approach anything that had to do with government. Also, outside of the Latino perimeters, just to be able to communicate with different churches and organizations and say, listen, our government is providing this, how can we come together regardless of who thinks what, and provide this opportunity for those who want it. Being that bridge is something that I'd be remembered for. And sometimes being that bridge was hard. Sometimes being that bridge was not accepted. But regardless of that, I believe that my team at the CDC Foundation was able to save lives. Whether we don't know who those people were, we don't know who those families were, we did it. And regardless of their names, we know that we saved lives. So that's important to me.
Powerful, powerful. I mean, you said it right there, right? We know that we saved lives. That's such a powerful message. Listen, how can people get in touch with you and find just connect with you if they want to? You have I don't know, website, social media handles. How can we find you?
Email. I won't get my personal number on the phone, right? But my email, it's really the CDC Foundation. So the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, has an offset kind of non-for-profit sector, which is called the CDC Foundation. And also communicating with my supervisor, Miss Lisa Walker, and then my Department of Health supervisor, Miss Elizabeth Hart, who's been, one of our direct contacts with the Department of Health in Tennessee, and we've been working under her in her direction since we've been hired. So, but my email is real simple. It's rsantiago, and it's rsantiago @cdcfoundation.org. And you can communicate. You can any questions, any concerns, any ideas. Because I don't foresee myself to always be the best thinker, right? I mean, I have some of my ideas come from other people's ideas. So if you have any ideas on how we can bridge the gap between different communities, I think that's important. So
absolutely. Well, the final question of the day, and I could really talk to you forever, right? Because I can tell your passion, and I know all the amazing things that you've done. But this is an easy question. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers? Anything at all?
Yes. On the side of what I do with the CDC Foundation, I am a USA Boxing coach. And I I was just elected as our local boxing committee president. And I believe in pouring as much as we can into our youth, because after we're gone, they're going to run this world, right? And if we desire them to be more successful than what we were, we have to try our best to pour in to all those pockets of life that they're gonna face when they get older. And I just encourage, I mean, even when it comes to public health, I'll share this. My dad, when I was a kid, kept on saying, stop eating candy, right? I don't want you to suffer from diabetes like I do. You know, things like that. Pouring to our kids the need for a good education, pouring into them the need to desire good jobs and get paid well, you know, to be successful, whatever successful means in their lives. Because just because they drive, I've tell my youngsters in the gym, I said, listen, just because you drive a BMW doesn't make you successful. You know, just because you have the newest fashion doesn't make you the coolest person on earth.
That's right.
You know, if you want to be a garbage man, you can do that and be successful, you know. So
That's right.
I think that pour into our youth and do it selfishly, you know, and know that we don't have much time on this earth. You know, our lives are short.
Oh, yeah.
We can do our best for those who are coming behind us. Then we can leave, you know, we can leave a path. I mean, we can look at our leaders like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and these guys led a path and they died young.
Yeah.
But their path was led and people came right behind that. So yeah, that's my message, and pour into the youth.
I love it. You heard it first from Ralph Santiago. Pour into the youth. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here on
you.
today's episode. Man, you're awesome. Just thank you for all that you're doing, and especially for serving youth. Now, for our viewers around the world, I invite you to join me back next Wednesday for TNCEAL Wellness Wednesdays. You won't want to miss an episode. Now, be sure to share this message. I want you to like, share, follow, comment, repost, do whatever you do, but let's help get this interview with Mr. Ralph Santiago out around the world. Until next time, stay informed, stay healthy, and share this message for your community. I am Dr. Katherine Y. Brown, your host. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Ralph. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to TNCEAL Wellness Wednesday. I am Dr. Katherine Y. Brown, your host. Today, I am excited to introduce you to our guest, Russell Acklin Sr. Mr. Acklin, welcome to TNCEAL Wellness Wednesday.
Thank you all for having me. Thank you all for having me.
Now, I've had the opportunity to learn about a lot of the work and things that you have been doing in the community as it relates to COVID-19, but our viewers haven't. So rather than read your bio, I just want this to be a conversation. So tell all of our viewers around the world a little about your background and all that you have been doing on the front lines as it relates to COVID-19.
Okay, Russell Acklin Sr. I'm a native of Nashville, Tennessee, graduate of Pearl Cone Comprehensive High School, graduate of Fisk University, graduate of Morgan State University. Since I started doing this, we've been doing a lot of frontline work, as you said. I've also had the luxury of being the assistant men's basketball coach at Fisk. So that's given me the opportunity to make sure the students over there are vaccinated as well. So it's almost like I've been doing a dual role. I'm here making sure people get vaccinated, and I'm over there making sure they get vaccinated.
Oh my gosh.
So sometimes, like before we went to New Orleans, we had this rush vaccination. So we had to get all of the student athletes together at one time. Thank God to Dr. Farmer Dixon for coming through in the clutch, and she got all of the kids vaccinated and tested, and everybody was able to get on the bus and travel, because it's been kind of troublesome traveling to different cities in the middle of this pandemic. It's something we've been dealing with for 2 years, and we've been trying to navigate being able to travel and still compete with all of the guidelines and restrictions on transportation and things of that nature. Like I said, I'm a father of 3, husband. I like cooking. Anytime I can find some downtime, I try to take it full advantage of it, but it's kind of difficult when you got an 18, a 14, and a 9-year-old. It's not a lot of downtime.
You answered it, because that was my next question. I was going to say, tell me the age. So you said 18, 14, and 9.
Yeah.
This is amazing, right? So you have to tell all of our viewers, how did you maintain a balance between family life, health, and then also the work that you were doing in the community? Did you see that? I mean, how did this all impact you from the family lens versus the role that you play in the community? Because people forget that just because you're on the front lines in the community doesn't mean that you don't have a family who you are also on the front lines for.
I just try to keep in mind to stay as flexible as possible.
Okay.
And I flash back to just a day ago. My son's at karate. My wife's about to turn 40 and she wants to go to the beach. So she has to get this beach body together. So what do? While the son's at karate, we go to the gym and ride the bike for 5 miles real fast for 30 minutes. So we get done with that in 30 minutes, pick the boy back up, back home. So, I mean, it's just, you got to learn how to maneuver and use the technology that we have available. I mean, most situations right now aren't ideal. They're not, but you still have to find a way to maneuver through what you need to get done.
Absolutely. So what do the words community mean to you? Because you're in the community.
Community means a lot to me. There's an old saying, product of the village. I am a product of my village. I grew up in the metro public housing all the way through high school. So dad wasn't necessarily there. So I always had outside external entities assisting in my upbringing, coaches, friends of my family members of my friends, things of that nature. So in my mind, I can't give them a check. I can't give them a gift. I can't do anything tangible to say, hey, thank you. Mm-hmm. So the best way I know about going to do that, telling them thank you and letting them know that the work they put into me, I'm paying it forward, is by working in the community, getting my hands dirty. As a member and a graduate of Fisk University, we have a responsibility to go out and try to change the world. As Dr. Du Bois came up with the theory of the talented 10th. That's something that's always looming in my head, that I'm a member of the talented 10th. It's my duty to go out and change the world. It's my responsibility to go out and try to make things better than they were the generation in front of me. So then the generation that comes behind me, all they have to do is pass the baton to them, and then they pick it up and they keep on running. So community means a lot to me because that's our base. That's our home plate. And I was always taught as a kid in any sport, always protect home plate. That's baseball, that's kickball, that's dodgeball, protect home. So I'm always trying to make sure home is taken care of. I've been here all but 7 years of my life while I was in grad school in Baltimore. The rest of the time I've been in Nashville. I've seen it grow. I've seen it start out as boot, scoot, and boogie, and now they're talking about giving us a Super Bowl. So, hey, I mean, certain things that we have to put in place to make sure the community is able to be taken care of. And my boss, Dr. Smoot, always harps to me, Russell, make sure people know and feel that they can trust coming to Meharry. That's how it used to be back in the day. So now we're fighting and doing everything in our power to get people back to the notion that, hey, Meharry is a trustable entity to get your health and wellness taken care of.
Absolutely. So, we've been in this thing for a lot longer than what we ever could have imagined, right? So what is the message that you want our viewers to know? They're watching this episode different times, different time zones, but as it relates to COVID-19 and just being healthy, what is the message that you want to share?
To quote one of my favorite groups coming up, Public Enemy and Flavor Flav, don't believe the hype. One of the things that I never thought I would spend as much time as I have while working on this was displacing myths. There are so many myths that are dropped like bombs, and once they're dropped, then there's no taking them back. And people's minds get warped by these myths, and they get in their heads that this is the actual reality of the situation, and it's really not. See, like right now, most people think we're out, we're in the clear, everything is great. Hey, we can go back to normal. And we're not even at 60% total vaccination across the state yet. So it's a lot of stuff that I think if I could tell the viewers to go ask questions, contact somebody you know, or contact Meharry, contact the health department, contact people who actually are in the trenches dealing with this and not just go by hearsay. I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and her and one of her classmates were trying to diffuse the situation. And we were telling our daughter, if you get in front of it and tell the person the truth, then you have less to deal with on the back end. So with this situation, hey, people, if you get in front of it, ask the people who know the truth, then we don't have that much to deal with on the back end. Like most people don't know, there's still variants that we don't know about fully in circulation right now. But everybody thinks, hey, we got the mask mandates taken off, we can go back outside. Yeah, it's a party, let's go. No, you still got to be safe. Still mask up. If you haven't been vaccinated, go get vaccinated. If you haven't been vaccinated, go find out the information to get you to pro or con on why you should or should not be vaccinated. If you've been vaccinated, get boosted. I mean, whatever you can do to be proactive on this is the best way you can go about dealing with it. You can't wait till it hits you and then you're stuck in a rut. Be proactive.
I love it. So for our viewers, I don't want you to miss, because Russell has dropped some amazing gems. He has said, be safe, ask questions, and be proactive, right? And so that's really powerful, right? Because we need to be proactive instead of reactive. And so you've reminded us of that today. So my next question for you is this. How can all of these people watching this get in touch with you? How can they stay connected with you?
It's probably easier to email me at racklin@mmc.edu. My email is consistently going blue when I'm in games, when I'm in practice, when I'm fighting the kids, whatever, but I always check the email. Now, it might be a little while before I can get to all the phone calls, but I definitely check all the emails. So it's probably easier to email me. Hey, I'm an open book, man. Anytime you want to talk, my whole house has been vaccinated, boosted. So I got every age bracket you can think of if you want to talk about what symptoms they had, what symptoms they didn't have, whatever, etc. I've gone to at least 50 vaccination events in the past year.
Oh my goodness.
That we set up ourselves. I've been there where I'm the only person in the building that can't speak English. And I just do this. So whatever info is needed, I'm here for you.
All right, very good. So listen, the last question is really an easy one, and it's all about you. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers?
If you get a chance, come out, or not necessarily come out, but if you get a chance, go over and just check out some of the things that are happening over at Fisk. You'll be surprised at the growth of that university right now. Sometimes I feel like it gets overlooked because it's just in such a small, quaint, quiet little corner over there. But that school has so much rich history and legacy behind it. Like the average person doesn't know, it's the oldest institution of learning in Nashville. Nobody knows that. So, I mean, it's little gems like that that you can just stumble across, and it might fuel your fire or get you over the hump to see about, okay, let me take on this challenge and things of that nature. Other than that, I always remember, people, it could be worse. No matter what your situation is, it could always be worse. And if it can always be worse, then you have an opportunity to fight through what you're dealing with.
I love it. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Here. I mean, yes, and we definitely have to have you back. So for okay, now you all heard it. He said anytime, so I'm gonna take him up on that. So for our viewers, around the world. We want you to share this message and join us back next week for another episode of TNCEAL Wellness Wednesday. You don't want to miss it. Until next time, stay healthy, stay connected, stay informed. I am Dr. Katherine Y. Brown, your host, and I will see you next time. Thank you again, Mr. Acklin.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.